Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name, as always, is Bloodstained Wings, and today we're going to actually be painting one of the scenes that I saw when I was in Europe. These are the Alps. I had such a wonderful trip and I can't wait to tell you all about it, and I'm going to be talking about it while I am doing this painting because I talked all about it. This painting is also my Patreon reward for February, and I have many prints that I have sent out already to my Patreons so that they have their painting reward. That is what I'm going to be doing moving forward for my Patreon, so any of the tiers that do get a reward will be getting prints, and unless they specifically ask for something else, they will be getting a print. So thank you for understanding all of that change. I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you guys are still supporting me in spite of this year and last year being a little bit hectic. I very much appreciate it, and I just really want to say thank you once again to all the people who support me. Their names scroll at the end of this video, and I just really appreciate you guys so much for supporting me through all of this time. Thank you. All right, hello. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. I hope you are ready for this adventure, because I'm going to talk about my adventure while I paint said adventure. So I'm going to start with a little bit, and I do mean a very little bit, of phthalo blue. We're starting the whole thing with phthalo blue. Now I do have the painting prepped with the goop as well as with titanium white. So there is white already on my canvas. And I am just adding a little bit of the blue up in the top, and you can see it is already taking over the entire painting. So, yeah. I flew over the Alps when I first went to Europe because I live in Canada and I do not live in Europe. Surprise, Canada's not in Europe. But since you probably already knew that, just gonna go with the assumption that you already knew that, so I had to fly over, and I flew into Germany, and then from Germany into Bologna, and boy, I had no idea. I think that people who don't see mountains all the time don't really get a good idea of how big the Alps are. In actuality, they're freaking huge. I don't know what I was thinking about them before, but whatever it is, it has drastically changed now, because yeah, they are massive things. I kind of don't have a concept of how, like, I don't know what to say about that other than I didn't know. You know, you hear about them being huge and, you know, they're mountains, and you're like, yeah, they're mountains, you know, mountains. And as someone who has never actually seen mountains in real life before, let me tell you, just saying, yeah, they're mountains does not equate to me understanding exactly how big they are. So when we flew over them, I decided in that moment I needed to take a bus through them, or a train through them, something like that, to really enjoy them, because they were just so magnificent that I had to see them closer up than just over top. And that's where this picture comes from. This is actually a picture that I took. I took this picture while I was on the train, on my way coming back through. I'm just blending in some white because it turned out a little bit darker than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. We're just gonna blend with a little bit of white. But yeah, so I took this picture myself while I was on a train going back through from Germany back to Italy, and just blown away once again, even though I had already seen them over top. I don't have explanation for how beautiful these are. And like, realistically, there was a little girl on the train who must have been like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5, like really young little girl, and she was like, "Mommy, mountains! Mommy, mountains!" And I was like, right? And like, the mom was like, "Yes, I understand. There are mountains." And I was like, "No, you don't understand. They're mountains." I felt like the little girl was the only one who truly understood that there was mountains there, other than me, who was obviously taking a lot of pictures. So I felt justified in my, oh my God, mountains, when there was a little girl who was doing very much the same thing. So that felt good. All right, I'm gonna add some wispy clouds. I'm gonna try using a new fan brush, which I have never used before. Wait, maybe I did use it. It looks like I might have used it already. Oh, I have paint already on my hands, you guys. Paint already there. That's gonna be there for the rest of this painting. That's fine. All right, I'm just gonna like really floof up some clouds over here. Oh yeah, look at them floofy clouds. Oh yeah, that's looking real nice. Yeah, well that was easy. Right? That was easy. So we're just gonna come back with the floofy brush and blend out its bottom so it has a nice blended bottom, and then we're just going to floof the top. Floof it. Oh yeah. Wow, that fan brush was perfect for these clouds today. That worked out real nicely. Let's do another, what was the other one? Well, they were like little streaks because they were actually from like cloud, or not from clouds, they were from airplanes. But we're just gonna wiggle some in and pretend that they're clouds. Artistic license. There we go. I'm also not going to be painting the village. There was a village over here. I'm not gonna be painting that. Didn't want to paint that. I'm gonna wipe off some of that paint. Okay, it's still on me, just to be clear. I've just wiped it off. Okay, now we get the pleasure of painting the Alps. Now, I was there in the fall, and these were between Italy and Germany, and so they weren't exactly wintering at the time, but that's okay. I'm gonna grab a little bit of black and some blue mixed in with some white. We're gonna create like a bluey gray kind of color, and that's gonna be our base color for our mountains in the distance. So it's not quite black, it's just a little bit of gray, and it's quite soft. And there are mountains in front of it that are slightly darker. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more blue and a little bit more black. I'm just gonna have that as another color. But before I get into that, I'm gonna highlight this one in the back, because they're the Alps and they're mountainous. Look at that mountain, just like that. I'm just gonna mist off the bottom here. Very misty. And there we go. We have a misty, misty mountain in the background, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And now, clean off my palette knife again. Go into the slightly darker color here. I don't even know if I have enough. Actually, I'm gonna mix a little bit more of that. Oh no, I grabbed too much blue. Gosh darn it. Too much blue. Okay, it is a darker color, but it is slightly bluer. There we go. We're just gonna come right in here, add another little mountain right in front of this guy. He's gonna have a little guy right there. There we go. Like so. There we go. And then we can do our highlight. There we go. Oh, very nice. I like that one. That one turned out really nice. Just gonna go ahead and do another little highlight there. So it looks like there's a little, oh yeah, oh, look at that. Look at that mountain. That just happened, you guys, that just happened. Once again, we are going to mist out its feet. misty, misty feet here. And now, believe it or not, this mountain in the foreground was actually, yes, part of the Alps, but was also covered in trees. Just covered in trees. So this whole thing we're going to cover in trees eventually. But we're not there yet. First we have to do the distant mountains, because now we have more mountains. Guys, did you know that there's more mountains? This is what I mean. I was flabbergasted that they just kept going. I was like, wow, we've been on this train for a couple hours now. It's still going, eh? Just absolutely insane to me how much. I know that there is probably some people in Europe right now who are laughing at me for not knowing that the Alps are frigging huge. I didn't have a concept of this being so big. So this one actually comes out like this. They were just so beautiful, and I was really glad that I got the chance, the experience, the opportunity to be able to just explore and see them in real life. Because yeah, I had no idea that they were so, first of all, so beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous, just really like stunningly beautiful. I can't tell you how beautiful it was seeing them in real life. I don't think that my painting here is going to do them justice at all. I will try, but you know, I don't think a painting's gonna do justice to the wonder that is. Now this one was actually covered in trees, but I'm gonna put snow on it anyways. Just at the very end here. Just gonna very gently add a little bit of some snow on the end. Now the next one is definitely covered in trees, so we shall not be doing it the same way. What we shall be doing is grabbing our big brush that we did everything else on, and we're going to grab some green. But I don't want it to be like bright green, so I'm going to add a little bit of black to it and a little bit of brown to it. We're just going to get ourselves like a muted green kind of color. Because it is still fall, but it was I forgot to mist out the bottom of that one. That's why it didn't look right. It's okay. We can still mist out the bottom down here. There we go. Where it's going to be visible. And we'll just cover the rest of it with trees over here. But that's fine. We're just trying to get an angle on this mountain over here. And then we can come in and kind of add little doodads of trees that are kind of hard to see anyways, but they're little doodads of trees. They're very, very far away, like super duper far away. I'm just gonna try to give them the right shape at least. And I'm gonna get them to be, I'm gonna do some highlights on them to try to give them more definition, but add a little bit more black to the ones in front. And then add a little bit more black again, and maybe a little blue. I'm probably going to need more green at some point, but that's okay. There we go. That's what I wanted. There, so you can kind of see that they are, in fact, trees, which is great. All right, we are now ready to use that same darker color, but this time I'm going to use a fan brush. And on that fan brush, I'm going to mix the green and the blue and the black. Just get like a really, really dark green color. And load my fan brush right up with it. And this is going to be, because these were actually trees the whole way down. Just huge, huge, huge trees. I clearly needed more paint. There we go. All right, and now once again I can use the bigger brush to just come in and kind of fill in the gaps, which is fine because these are big, big trees, so they don't really have a lot of definition to them because it was just like a giant tree. That being said, there was a little bit of snow. I think what I'm gonna do is take some black, mix it with some brown, and a little bit of the blue to give it kind of like a greenish suggestion. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to add that through here. There was a little bit of snow. We want to have the background dark so that you can have the snow on top of. And now, grab a little bit of white, but I don't want it to be pure white because this is now in shadow. So we're gonna grab a little bit of black and or the same color that's on here. We're just gonna mix that in because this is in shadow. There's just a little bit of snow just dancing its way through here, like so. There we go. It gives it that this is a mountain and definitely rocks and trees kind of feel, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And then I'm going to use my big brush again to come in here and just kind of fill in some of that, fill in some of this, because obviously there are trees all the way up to the road and grasses and stuff. And I will come back in and add the road back in with more details, but we shall do that later. Okay, grabbing more paint. This is again the black mixed with the blue and the green. And I just loaded my paintbrush back up. And we got a whole bunch more trees that we can just really pop back in. And you can just keep going with this all the way down the mountain, which is great. And they were huge trees, just really, really big trees. I can't wait for the day where I get to see like the giant redwoods of BC, because I think they may blow these trees out of the water. But when I saw these trees, I was blown away. I was like, I did not realize that trees were this big. Obviously they are, but like, oh my gosh, did not have an understanding of that, you know? Gonna have a little bit more rock poking through here. Gonna just grab some of this to kind of fill in. There we go. And once again, I will be adding more. Just have to get a little bit more going on. Oh, it looks so good already. You guys, I am thoroughly impressed by my own ability to paint sometimes. There we go, it's just catching a little bit of that light. Just a little bit of snow. And I'm gonna come in with a very small brush, well, not a very small brush, but a smaller brush, and I'm gonna mix some yellow ochre in with some of that brown color and the white, and we're just gonna get like a kind of cement-ish kind of color is what I'm going for. And I'm just gonna fill in the columns just a little bit to give the idea here of there being, you know, like a road. That was too yellow and not brown and black enough. I'm gonna come back in with a little bit of the brown and black and just, there we go, that's much more cement colored. There we go. All right, and then using that same brush, I'm just gonna try to get some of the edges here with a few little trees. Just so it's all nicely filled in and there's not weird gaps. There we go. You still want places for, like, you know, creatures to hide, obviously, but we want to make sure that everything here makes sense. Okay, we're gonna have a big bunch of stuff going on in front on this side because that's how this is, because the road kind of goes between mountains and around the mountains, and just it's fascinating, you guys. I don't know how to tell you this. I had a really good time just enjoying the very concept of like going through the Alps. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing. The ingenuity required to be able to like do that is just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that, like, somebody made this happen, you know, like that was a thing that somebody did. They made this happen. All right, we're getting really into the darks over here. There we go. Like, can you imagine having to like lift up by hand all the like things needed to like carve out pathways through the Alps so that you could like go to another place? Like, it's just, it blew my mind, you guys. I'm not going to be able to explain this nearly the amount of times. I had just a wonderful time exploring and enjoying the views and the vistas, and just the entire time I think I spent like, I don't know, like a couple hours on the train just being like, ooh, and mountains with the little girl who was doing the same thing. And I was like, yes, other person doing the same thing. It's not just me. And her mom being like, yep, those are mountains. I'm like, no lady, you don't understand. They're mountains. They're not just big rocks. They're legit mountains. This is crazy. And you know what? She didn't understand. Sorry about those noises. All right, so yeah. Basically, I'm just gonna be filling in the front here with some dark vegetation. Because that's what it was. And then there was like a little river that was like way down here, but I don't know if I'm gonna paint the river or not. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Get back in here with all these wonderful, beautiful colors. They're all just so deep and dark because it was like the edge of a mountain. And there were things going on, like trees. Who would have guessed trees were a thing that was going on? I'm gonna see if I can get with this blue-black, or not the blue-black, with the black and brown, see if I can get like just one tree that's like over here. And just, you guys can't really see it, but it's there. Maybe if I highlight it. I don't know if I want to use this to highlight yet because I have limited highlighting ability. Once I do this, I only have one brush. So we're just gonna pretend like I didn't do anything. And okay, we're gonna do the river. That's what I decided just now, right? Right, that's what I said. Okay, so how? I don't know. That's a good question because I'm kind of making up the river. I don't want to do that. I know that it was there because I remember. But that doesn't mean that I know exactly where it is. So what I'm gonna do is get a little bit more of this going. I might actually grab some of the yellow ochre in with this and see if we can just, oh yeah, the yellow ochre stands up against it. Okay, so using that as a guide, I will now clean this brush and then grab some yellow ochre and start adding in some trees that are like brighter and on top of. Do I think that I should probably paint the rest of the darkness first? Yes, I do. I do think that. So, what we shall do is while that brush is thinking about what it's done, which is nothing, it's done nothing, but I'm gonna take some of this and I'm just going to fill in. We're just gonna fill it in because the front here is going to be all dark and then filled in with trees on top. So we just gotta fill it in with the darkness so that the light can shine. But we need more green first. Okay, I am back with more green and black. And I'm just going to fill this in. And we're just gonna pop in a little bit of texture. Just in case some of this is visible behind our trees, which it probably will be. So, okay. Now, we're gonna use yellow ochre. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white on this one. And we're just going to add in a tree. Would you look at that? There's a tree. There were all kinds of larches and tamaracks through this forest. I was blown away by how many there were, honestly. I took a picture and it was just like an entire like monoculture forest of tamaracks, and I had never seen that before. Where I live, you do get tamaracks, but like not nearly that many. Like they're rare pine trees here. They are not the norm. You do not regularly see tamaracks and larches. Tamaracks and larches are a kind of pine tree that actually turns in the fall into like basically yellow ochre. They're just straight yellow ochre trees. And yeah, they look like these. Where you're like, whoa, wait, hang on. I thought evergreens were evergreens because they stayed forever green. And you're like, yes, but tamaracks are not. They're deciduous pine trees, which is just one of the craziest concepts, really. And it was an entire like hillside of them, which is just bonkers to me. Like, what? How does that happen? And so now we shall make the other ones do that as well. Now I'm probably going to have a hard time having it stick, so I'm just going to lighten that up a little, and we're just going to come in here and add a few little highlights on these guys so that they give the impression of being tamaracks. And we're going to do the same thing on the ones in the distance, but I'm going to make them a little bit lighter with some white. So they're very faint, but it does give them the separation they need to exist. So that you can see there's actually like a little highlight on these trees that are coming through there, and then it gets like really dark from the shade from this. It gets really light again. Well, not really light. It's still pretty dark in the foreground here. So it's actually a little bit too bright on some of these, so I'm just going to darken that up a little, muddy them up. There we go. Right there. See? No mistakes, guys. Only happy accidents. Just come through and add a little bit more details and more darkness. If you've got too much light, add more dark. There you go. That is basically the picture of the Alps. I will post the picture that I took so that you guys can see this versus my picture. It's not exact. It's not exact, but it is pretty dang close. There is like some rocks here and the thing, and then I didn't quite, I just realized I did have anyways, it's fine. It's close enough. You guys will see. This is the Alps as drawn by me, as taken a picture of by me while I was there. This is actually going to be my Patreon reward for anybody who is on my Patreon this month. I'm going to be shipping out prints of this for February, as this is going live February 1st. And I can't wait to share this with you. I will say the next painting that I also did in February. I did it before this one, but that painting, I do talk about it being winter and it being in February. But I did do it before this one. I was trying to be clever, but then I changed my schedule around and things happen. But there you go. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I know I really enjoyed this one. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your patience waiting for these to come out. And I really appreciate my Patreons understanding the change in like ideas for the Patreon rewards because they were custom paintings every single month, but as a result of not getting a lot of feedback and struggling to find time to do paintings, we're going to be doing one painting and then prints of that painting for my YouTube or for my Patreon rewards. They are not always going to be on YouTube. They're going to be whenever. But I had a lot of fun painting this one, and yeah, at the mountains, I did a good job. Anyways, I hope you guys know that you are loved, you deserve to be loved, and I will see you next month. Bye!